January's in the books, and it brings us to February. 9 games left in the regular season for the MIAA, as the Emporia State Hornets come in 10-9 against Lincoln University 7-12, tied for 8th place and trying to secure a spot into March as the MIAA tournament is ahead. Hello and welcome courtside at Jason Gym. My name is James Stanley alongside my broadcast partner Cam Thomas. A tough game for Lincoln against Washburn on Thursday, and now they'll try to end a 3-game losing streak.
Yeah, a tough road trip for the Blue Tigers. Spent part of their time in Oklahoma over the week and a half break that brought them 3 losses, and it was a tough stretch for the Blue Tigers. But they want to get back home on Saturday and try to turn the tide against Emporia State.
Janelle Burton with 10 points last time out against Emporia State, but the team really struggled to shoot from beyond the arc, especially in the first half. They scored only 22 points against the Ichabods on Thursday through the first 20 minutes. And not only that, but Marcel Burton 0 for 7 from the floor and 0 for 5 on the night from downtown.
Yeah, Marcel is a big part of this Blue Tiger offense. If you can kind of get him going, it allows others to flourish within the offense. So, tough break for the Blue Tigers not to be able to shoot it well from beyond the arc. This season, they've either been red hot or just dead cold from beyond the arc. It's been the extreme of one or the other. So if they can find that medium ground from the three-point range and then being able to get to the free throw line a little bit, that's something that's definitely hurt the Blue Tigers throughout the season. It could really help them offensively to allow them to get into a groove, and then they start seeing other things flourish throughout the entirety of a ball game.
Another place Lincoln has gone cold has been from the free throw line. They're dead last in the country, 303rd out of 303 teams. Shooting a 58% clip from the free throw line. Cam, something's got to change.
Yeah, and one of the big things about that is continuing to attack the paint. The Blue Tigers do that. They're going to draw more fouls and get easy opportunities inside the lane. That's a big thing with getting high percentage shots inside the lane. That just allows you to have a better chance of course, scoring baskets, but then allowing yourself to go up against contact and not being afraid of contact. I think that's one of the things that will allow the Blue Tigers to get to the free throw line a little bit more, and the more that they get to the free throw line, the better their numbers are going to get.
That's something they have struggled with this season, but as we look to the latter half of the year, Emporia State comes in, again tied for 8th in conference, but they're with a key loss, and that's without Brendan Van Dyke. Tore his ACL against Missouri Southern a few weeks ago and was seen as one of their more dynamic players.
Yeah, it's tough when you're a guy that's one of the leading scorers on the team, a guy that's just so integral in their offensive scheme. I think that's just so important for them. But it's tough to see him go down, and you have to have that next man-up mentality if you're Emporia State, because there's just too much on the line at this point in the season. You're halfway through the MIAA schedule, a brutal half left for Emporia State. They've got some tough foes that they still got to go up against. So it's the next man-up mentality for their ball club, and the Hornets are going to have to find a way to inch out a victory inside of Jason Gym, because the Blue Tigers are going to have just as much intensity trying to get off of their 3-game losing streak.
For Lincoln, they do have some depth off the bench. We've seen great performances out of Joe Davis as well as Lamont Ballard Jr. One player I want to pay attention to is DJ Ward, a guy that's not gotten a lot of playing time this year, but against Washburn on Thursday, did have 6 points in the second half, went 2 for 3 from beyond the arc, and really looked comfortable on the floor.
Yeah, and DJ plays with so much heart, right? Not the guy that starts in the starting lineup or even the first guy off the bench. He's a guy that you usually see towards the end of the bench, a guy that's cheering on his teammates, trying to do everything that he can, the little things to allow a team to win. So, kudos to DJ for the hard work that he's put in to, crack the lineup for John Mosley and company. And I think that just it brings the team together even that much more, because you see another guy who may not have had success throughout the entirety of the season finally see some now, and getting some playing time for him is important. So the rest of the season for the Blue Tigers is going to be a collective effort, and something that is going to require the holistic improvement of the entire team to get where they want to be ahead of the MIAA tournament at the end of the season.
29th meeting all-time between the Hornets and the Blue Tigers, very dominated by Emporia State. It's 18-10 in favor of the Hornets, but the last 11 meetings, a little bit of a different story in the John Mosley era. He won 5 out of the last 6, and Emporia State is one of those teams that once John Mosley comes to the table for Lincoln in the MIAA, well, it's been a much better time for the Blue Tigers.
Oh, absolutely. And, we always hear Coach Mosley say the MIAA is one of the hardest D2 leagues to play in the entire country, and it truly is. But one thing that he's done at Lincoln is allowed the Blue Tigers to start competing in that group of, so many perennial powerhouses in Missouri Southern and Northwest Missouri State. So I think one thing that John Mosley has brought to this team is just that mentality of not being afraid to back down from anyone or any opponent in the MIAA. So that's been really important and a principle that he continues to allow to drive this team.
Could be a turning point in the season for both of these teams. They both need a win. They both need to keep treading water, 8th place in the conference and tied for that spot. The MIAA only takes the top 8 teams that they'll bring to Kansas City to play into March, that first week at Municipal Auditorium. But we're going to have the starting lineups as well as opening tip-off after this. Stay tuned on the MIAA Network.